Hey guys, um, welcome back. Got a different update, if nothing else. For our Deep Space Nine today. So I left something off on these that I forgot. I forgot to putty around these discs. There's a little bit of a gap around them. So need to putty around that, but also I completely just slipped my mind the fact that um I need to run connecting wires through these because these are the bottom pylons and the power's got to pass through these and go out the post at the bottom into the base. Um so I need to do that. So we're going to do that today, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a set of connecting wire cable in through each one and tape them off and label them. And because I'm going to have three sets of things, as far as what power is connected to, three separate circuits. I'm going to have a circuit for the main power with all the static lighting. That'll be one. So that'll go down the first pylon. The second pylon is going to have all of it's going to be the flashing circuit for all of these indicators on the pylons and the defensive cells. That's all on a flash circuit that's separate from the static lighting. So it's going to go down the second pylon. And then third pylon, the Defiant is going to be permanently docked to the model with this particular one. And so I want to go ahead and get the strobes to work. I'm just going to let it have its own strobe pattern. So it's going to have its own board and circuit just for the Defiant strobe. So it will be on a third separate circuit. So it'll go down the third pylon. Wherever the heck this is docked, the power will go down that one. And that way, I've got three circuits, and there's three different locations that they come out, and it keeps me from getting confused because the strobe circuits have their own resistor built into their little chips, their controller chips. The lights themselves are not calibrated for 9 volts, but the chips are. So if I plug in the wrong one to just plain power at 9 volts because I miswired it, then I will blow out the bulbs like quicker than an instant. So I'm going to I'm gonna make them separate and label them and avoid all issues in that manner. But yeah, the Defiant strobes will not be in sync with the station, even though usually when you saw it in the same shot as the station and they were together, and you can really see this on the first episode of Voyager when it undocks from DS9 to set out. And the shots of it docked to DS9. That pilot episode of Voyager, you can see the white strobes of Voyager is in sync. It's completely synchronized with the red strobes of the station. So interesting thing that they did when they were lighting everything for the show. However, it is technically a separate ship, and even though it's docked to the station, I'm just gonna put it on its own circuit instead of trying to figure out what resistor to put on the light because it's a different color. I'm not great with electronics. I'm not an electrical engineer, nor do I pretend to be. I fake it till I make it and copy others. And when I run into mistakes, I ask for help. So that's what we're going to do there. So real quick, we're going to putty these, and then even though these are sealed up and it's going to be aggravating, I'm going to try to carefully get some lead wire through each of these and get them labeled off before we go to painting everything. And then we're going to play around with this today. That's the other reason why I've got the Defiant out is I want to play around with more of the lighting. I've already got one light in here. It's just got one little section, one little 3-node section of LED strip that is taped right here to the top. That's all that's in here. I've already determined that I need to put a little SMD in each side where the nacelle engines are. I guess you'd call those nacelles. I don't know. Each engine needs a little SMD, and I don't need it for the one that's docked to the station, but for a separate Defiant to light it up, I also need one more SMD on the front end for where that deflector lights up. I'm pretty sure I'm going to need one more. But that lights up all of the static lighting by doing that. But I want to play around with getting the navigation lights to come on. As well as we need to put the strobes in here. And to do the strobes, I need to do fiber optic. That's going to be my best bet. Just do one bulb and fiber optic where they need to go. So we're going to play around with that today in this video. And little change of pace and do something a little neat, and we can workshop the best way to light this. That's what's in store for this video. I'm gonna get these done, and I'll check in a minute when I get something going. Okay guys, so I got these bloodied and finished, and I cut plenty of length here for my leads. I mean, they're a good 20 inches at least. This one's 21, and they're all about the same. So 20 inches or so, and they were actually really easy to put through here, contrary to what I thought it might be. So I thought I would show you one. All I did was, while the ends are still not frayed, not separated, I just took it and I put the curved end like downward, and I held this with the curve also in the same angle, and I went, because my wired leads are wired to the left hand side when you're holding it like away from you. It's towards the left hand side here, so I'm inserting it in the hole and going towards the left side, so it has clearance past the bulb and all where my wires are tacked down, and I just feed it through and it comes out the bottom. It was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. I thought it would catch all kinds of stuff and I'd have to get a wire and feed it through, but nope. Very painless. Alright, so that's done. I did all 3 of those. Now I'm going to take, the first thing is, this end, I'm going to like a little label flag, decide which pylon's which. Alright, so this is going to be pylon number 3. We will mark that 3 dash right strobe, three white strobe, put it on both sides. And we'll do that on that end. Go ahead and Do that. And then on the other end here, we're going to take it. Put it in a coil, a nice neat coil. Like that. Piece of tape. Okay. And we can even do the same thing on this one and put number 3. So we wrapped it in a coil, taped it, and put number 3 label, and we just don't stuff it inside like that. That's one done. These wires have already, I already know the difference in these. The regular thicker hookup wire that's pre-twisted is the main static power, and the really thin leads that are not twisted here are is to my SMD strobe. So it's easy to know the differences there. We're just labeling what the our excess lead is going to be that's going to go down bottom. So we're just labeling them like that, and we'll get all 3 labeled here. Okay, so I've got all 3 of them done now. You've got number 1, which is static / main power. Number 2, which is your red flash. And number 3, which is the white strobe. And you saw me do that one. And just shove the ends down in the side, and those are ready. Now we can actually paint those when we get to that point. Okay, so moving on. Okay, guys, so I've got everything, I think everything I need to do this with, and I already pried this back open again. It's not hard, it's not glued together. I just got the locator pins, at least some of them. I ground 2 of them away. Should have been 3, but this was just a prototype. I just needed to ground 1 away to catch what the effect was. In reality, I need both of these to be done away with. As well as probably these 2. Well, yeah, these 2 definitely do have to go, because those 2 little circle details that light up is sitting right where the locator pins are. So those will also have to go. And they're kind of sort of blocking some of the light to these impulse engines. Little round ones. But whatever. You just take, what I do is I take my hobby knife and I stick in an edge, and then I just pop it loose on either side, and then I can take it apart. I took this little green highlighter pen thing, and I marked T and B so that you guys, it'll help me, but it's mainly for you guys so you can see what I'm doing, what the top side and bottom side is, because when you're looking on the inside, it's really similar. It's hard to tell it apart, just right off the bat. So got that. I would ideally actually use a 3mm LED bulb, but I'm out of 3mm white, so I'm using this 5mm just for testing purposes. This is from our sacrificial bin. And I've got, let's see, this is 0.5mm and I think 0.25, so this is 0.5 millimeter and 1/4 millimeter. Yeah, fiber optic. I got to decide which one is best for that. We've got some clear red for the red nav indicators, and then we got my little drill bit with pin vise drill with our micro drill bits. And I've looked, and probably this green one and this yellow one is the two we're gonna need. Depending on which one of these we end up going with. And for the green, this is for the red, for the green nav indicators, I got 3 options here that we're going to play around with, see which one gives us the best effect. I'm thinking it's probably going to be this regular green Sharpie. I've also got a lighter one. This is probably going to be an absolute no, but we'll just see. And then I've got this one, but I think this is going to be too light because I think it's technically a highlighter. But it works really well, so we'll try it if I'm not liking this one. But that'll do the green, and what we'll do is we'll find where those need to go, and take a drill bit or whatever, and scrape the paint away from where that light needs to be, and then paint it with whichever color, either the pen or the paint, because this is just playing around, experimental workshop in this. Instead of doing a brush, I'm probably just gonna take a little Q-tip and dab it and throw it away because I mean, we're not being too particular here. It's a prototype. We got plenty of these to play with. Just trying to figure out what our best lighting options are for this thing. As you see with this one, I light blocked the inside of it. It was just because I knew where I wanted my lights to go. And it's not going to be that hard to add lights to this. Because everything else is either going to be these indicators or fiber optic points, which means it's got to drill all the way through. So it is what it is, but the real one, I probably will not light block it like this until I know exactly what I'm doing. And that's the point of this, is to find out exactly what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to quit talking now, and I'm going to look up some reference images. I'm procrastinating on that. DS9 Hobbyist Forums. And Starship Modeler. Deep Space Nine Starship references. And here's the Defiant. Scroll around these pictures until I find what I'm really wanting to see here. Most of this, if not all of it, is going to be without any kind of lighting. It's going to be purely the model. If anybody wants links to the particular references I use when I'm building these things, for this build, for the Deep Space Nine and Defiant and all that, including the Cardassian ships that are in the kit, the Kelvin and Gaylord, there's a specific, the main references, there's a specific website. It's called Starship Modeler, and I found a link to it. That it's a specific page that is purely for Deep Space Nine starships, and it's for each ship and the station. It is a collection of reference high resolution reference for photographs of the actual production models. So it's really, really helpful. So if anybody wants links to that, just let me know and I will provide those. It's not hard to find. I found them on some forums when I did some Google searches. The funny thing about looking at the windows though is I think I'm gonna have to wait, which will be it's gonna be kind of weird. I'm not sure how well it's gonna work, but I think I'm gonna have to wait till after all of the decals are on this little thing, because I got the HTA ModelWorks decal set, and I think they come with the windows molded, like printed onto the decal. And so what I'll probably have to do is wait until the decal's on there and then use those as my reference and drill out where the windows are printed, drill out through that and through the paint so that the light can come through. I'll have to look at that again to see how they are. I also am wondering how accurate those window placements are. There's not a whole lot of reference unless you're looking at the production model as far as where the windows go, because you don't see them much. They're in very odd place to have windows for that model. Fun fact, which is an oddity to me that this is the case. I would not have thought that, but the Defiant is actually one of my favorite ships in all of Star Trek. I love the Defiant. In fact, it's probably my favorite starship that is in the Next Generation era. I love Deep Space Nine, the show, and there's episodes literally dedicated to the Defiant and giving it its full due. And I love those episodes and what they do with them. I've been smeared where I wrote that stuff on there. But I really love the Defiant. So there's a fun fact. Every time I start talking, I stop looking for what I'm doing. I can't multitask. I just want references, some accurate references of where all of the navs are. I know there's one on each end of the engine for both sides. You got red on one, green on the other. But I'm looking for an accurate reference to show me all of them to help me determine if there's any more than just those. Which for prototype purposes, it's fine. But I would like, that's something I hadn't paid attention to, because originally I wasn't going to light this thing up other than just put enough ambient lighting inside of it that the engines would glow and the windows would be turned on, and maybe have an indicator on the top just glow. And that was it. Just bare minimal lighting, because it's technically being powered by the station, is the way I looked at it. But let's just, I changed my plans, and I want the strobes and all. I want it to look good. I think our brains are gonna make more sense of it. Gonna make the most sense to our brains when we look at it, if it's actually lit up properly, regardless of what canonically makes sense. Yeah, so these two light indicators is actually the strobes. That's what I was thinking. So you've got the strobe up here, and then you've got those two are strobes, and those are the ones on top. There is a static white light that goes here, but it's facing forward technically, and it's casting. You can see where I kind of took the paint away on that. Where I'm shining, where there's supposed to be kind of like a. I was thinking about maybe trying a Raytheon there, because the ship registry is along right here. But that's what that's for. It's to light up the ship registry, the spotlight. But there is one white light here, so I'm happy about that, because I just, whether it was there or not, or supposed to be there or not, I just felt like it really needs to be one. So the only navigation that I'm seeing is literally just these two on either side of the engine. And you've got green for starboard and red for port. And that is the only light, at least for top side. Bottom side, you don't get a whole lot of shots of that, so it's kind of up for interpretation on what all's down there. But I do know there is a light there, a light there. Somewhere up here, there's another light. Those are like static white lights. I know under here, you've got the really warm white, almost golden hue colored lights that come on, and they're your docking lights. Seems like all the ships of Star Trek that dock to the station, at least in that area, turn on these really warm lights where it's gonna dock. I think it's interesting. Those are behind this, so I don't have to worry about those necessarily. Although it would be cool to turn them on, like it's gonna leave. And then you just got your windows. I don't think there's anything else on here except maybe some more strobes. But for the navigation, we're just gonna do green starboard, red port, and just one on each side of the engine. So, or two, not one. So that's what we're looking at with those. So I'm gonna take. Let's see, how big are they? I think we're actually gonna go with the bigger 0.5 millimeter diameter for the fiber optic. I think we're gonna go for that instead of the smaller one. To the 1/4 millimeter. Yep, that's it. That's gonna be the right size. So we're gonna go with the 0.5 millimeter, the 0.5 millimeter fiber optic for our navigation. And we'll probably do our strobes and all of it the same exact size. So, in fact, we will do it all the same exact size. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. So, all right. So I'm going to take and do a little work on this, and then I'll check back in with you when I got something to show you. So, be back in a second. Okay. So, I did the studying. I changed the drill bit to this brown one that was an in-between size between this yellow and the green. And it actually was the correct size. The yellow was just a tad too big. It worked, but the brown was better. I would tell you the size of these, but they're so weird and I'm not used to them being labeled like that, so it's just hard. I think I tried to do it in another video and I failed epically. Like 0.7 thou. Something like that, I think is what that's supposed to mean. So I did my research, and that one shot where it's static, there's static lights. That was a production mistake. Every other shot of the ship that I just went and looked at, there's strobes. But for that one shot in that one episode where you're seeing it undock from the station and leave, for this one particular episode that I looked at, it shows the underside strobes as being just static white lights, so that's kind of funny. So, but I look and I readjusted where they're supposed to be. These two grill vent looking things. There's a strobe on either side on the bottom, and then there's one, this little armature little design detail thing on the back side of the nose. Ignore that hole. The light is actually on the little square block thing that it looks like all those things are holding. That's where that center strobe goes on the front. And then on the top, you've got these, which we had already located, and then the one here. And that's all the strobes that are on the ship. The only static white light that I found was this one that is actually the spotlight for the registry. And then you've got, I haven't located and drilled the holes or anything, but you've got red navigations on the port side engine here, and then 2 green on the starboard. Not done those yet. I just did the white strobes. And I drilled a hole all the way through so that my fiber optic will go through the hole. So feeds through just like that. And I'll light it up so you can get an idea of what that looks like. But then just imagine all of them have the light, and it would be a strobe. I'm not gonna turn on, because I'm just testing where the lighting goes. I'm not gonna attach it to the strobe circuit, and I'm also not gonna go ahead and wire them all up, because although it'd be the first time I've actually done a fiber optic circuitry like that, or whatever you would like to call it. It's not that I hadn't used fiber optics, just I have not done it in bundles before, quite like this. So it wouldn't hurt to try it, except this is the only strand of this I've got. It's not even a full foot, I don't think. Oh, it's exactly a foot. This is 1 foot of this, and I need much more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order some more of this, and by the time I get around to building the Defiant, I should have some more of this in from I'm probably going to get it from Evan Designs. I really like Evan Designs. I've never went wrong when I work with them, or when I order from them rather. So we're going to go with the 0.5 millimeter fiber optic with a I'm probably going to use a 3 millimeter bulb, which means I would need to order more. And that's another thing, and why I'm probably going to go with Evan Designs as well, is I really need to use a bulb so that I can attach them to the end of the bulb, because I'm actually going to do a bundle, and that's going to work way better than what I actually have here. Because what I actually have, if I can find it, is a Pico LED. That's that I got from Evan Design. Got a 470 ohm. I wrote it on there. I had to call Shelly and ask because I was trying to figure some stuff out. And there's the chip. It's just way too big to fit inside this thing. I even tried. That's why we have opted to actually permanently attach it to the station. But I mean, that little guy is not gonna. I'm gonna have a real hard time making that light up all of these fiber optic lines. So the other reason I'm gonna go there is instead of using this, order another one, but as a bulb, a pre-wired bulb. So got some new mail inbound here shortly. So I'll put all this back and we will work on the navigation lights and check back in with you. So, see you in a minute. Okay, guys. So I had to play around with it a little bit, but this side's working. That's red. It's still got the locator pin on this side, on this particular engine. I took it out of this one so the light gets there better. But also remember, it's going to have its own SMD for both these engines. And speaking of that, I looked at the window placement here and the fact that there's like no light getting there whatsoever because of that going in like that. It pretty much cuts that off from all light just about it. So it will also get a separate SMD anyways, just due to these windows. Even though we're not doing the deflector, the windows need to light up. So there's gonna be a total of 3 SMDs in one little LED light strip inside of this little model. And then there'll be fiber optics coming from inside the station through the bottle nose where the deflector is to all of the strobe locations. There's 3 on top and 3 on bottom. That's all the lighting that this will get. But there's the red side, so it's not glowing very well. This side, it's got the more light. It comes off a little more, honestly, more white than red. Got kind of a pink color to it. It is only lit from the back side, from the inside, and then the hole on the out. This side, it's not got much light there at all, but it is lit. It's also got a little drop of clear red on the outside to make up for the red, but you can't see the light very much. This side, you can see both of these better because of that locator pin's not there. But again, it needs to be brighter. That side and that side. This back one is just back. Got the. We ended up using this one, the like highlighter pin thing, marker, an Office Max, the liquid like highlighter marker. It worked the best. I was thinking this was going to be the best, and it actually did like hardly anything. So it gave the best effect. And this one is only colored from the inside, and this one is also colored from the outside. And I don't know how the camera doesn't seem to be picking it up as well as my eyes. The one from the outside is actually a little better. So I got to think about how to handle that. What I might do, which would ensure that everything is where it should be and I don't accidentally drill the wrong place, and that's probably what I'll do anyways, is I'm going to take a little bit of fiber optic, just a little stem of fiber optic, and put through there so I've got excess, and I will colorize the end of that fiber optic to ensure that the color is actually going to be right. And we'll just snip the ends and everything. And if anything, we can take and just put a little drop of color on the end of that little fiber optic and just have it pronounced just enough above the hull that it it reduces the risk of us affecting our overall paint job. The green is not too bad. I pretty much did it without touching the paint because it's a little. I mean, it's got a tip on it. The red was harder because I did it with a toothpick, tip of a toothpick, but it's clear red. It's almost like a gel, and so it's kind of thick. And it was hard to get it just on the little hole. But regardless, we've got this thing figured out. So we're gonna have, you know what? That's what we'll do. We'll have fiber optic nav indicators for red, green, and we'll colorize it with some clear red and this green highlighter pen, Office Max, and then the LED strip for all of the rest of the lighting for the main interior, and that'll light up all the windows under here. It will light up this top indicator or top spotlight, I guess. These two red grills and the two lines of four blue vents, and then we'll have a separate SMD in both engines to light up all of those, and then we'll have one more SMD in the nose and the bottleneck to light up the windows there, and then we'll run fiber optics from the station into the ship, front of the ship, that will be our 6 strobe light, 3 on top, 3 on bottom. So we figured out all our lighting for the Defiant. I've got to order some 0.5 milliliter fiber optic from Evan Designs, and then I'm gonna order a white LED actual bulb with my strobe flash pre-wired. I'm gonna order that from Evan Designs, just specifically for this. And that, I think, does it for that. So that's gonna be it for this one. A little different, just workshopping lighting on my little prototype Defiant here. Getting a finalized lighting setup. What I'll do is I'll print out some plans, just like I printed these out, and then I drew up some other ones to draw where I had they're in the box, and I put the box up like a goofy. I drew up plans, and I colored coded and drew in my circuitry and my lighting plan. I'll probably do the same thing with the Defiant here, and I'll show you guys in another episode, or I may show you guys in the episode that when we get to whichever episode we get to actually doing the Defiant. Regardless, that's all for this one. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this little different video for the Deep Space Nine kit, and I hope everybody has a good one. I will see you guys in the next update. Happy modeling.